Welcome, the Natural Nick Sullivan.
How's it
Welcome
going,
to
guys?
the. It's going actually quite good. Finally, we're here back again, more or less where it all started. You were actually our first international interview.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So we are going back to the roots now. So we are actually here for your pleasure only. It sounds a little bit kinky, I think. Sorry for that.
What?
But we're actually here to hear a little bit about your year in wrestling, 2023. So take us back to the start.
I got a chance to, obviously, I got a chance to wrestle Nick all of this, so that was initially the highlight of my career. I got more opportunities in Canada. Had a chance to speak to you more about competing in Europe next year. Well, this coming year, actually. Just upping my craft and just keep giving 120%. Just keep doing whatever I can to get signed. I had a lot of good matches this year. Well, this past year, worked very hard. I'm very proud of my performance, my overall outcomes when it comes to wrestling in general. And as you know, I send you a lot of the matches to critique, and I thank you for going out of your way and breaking things down for me and giving more of a broader sense of what I should work on when it comes to wrestling-wise or character-wise. And I really appreciate you going out of your way for that.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome, Nick.
Always. Sometimes the truth is maybe people close to you are not always saying the whole truth, and you have to be direct. You have to be precise when you give feedback to a wrestler.
Yes. Like I'll have my wife, my mom will both say oh, this match fucking sucked. Excuse my language, but they'll definitely tell me oh, this match was bad, and I'm like, yeah, I know, or oh, what should I work on? And you guys know how it is. A lot of guys will sugarcoat or will gaslight you, but especially in today's age and in society, my thing is you have to be honest, and I'd rather have someone tell me the truth than just gaslight it than you watch your own work. I'm like, oh, it looks really good. But then in reality, I'm like, no, it sucked. But like I said before, so many guys cannot take criticism. I don't know. It's because they expect everything's handed to them, or they expect people to bend over backwards or kiss their feet. But it's you have to work hard. You have to take, if you want to make it to the next level, you have to take criticism. You have to take either positive or negative feedback. You cannot, everything's not peachy or sugarcoats or rainbows,
No, it's not always riding on the rainbow of happiness in the world of wrestling, even though it can be sometimes. I actually think the wrestling world is you don't really always necessarily saying the truth to a wrestler. You're saying oh, I think it was a good match, meaning, well, it was not that good.
Yeah.
You have to be precise and take off the gloves and say exactly what's wrong, but also giving the positive feedback. I think it's such important as well, because you learn from your mistakes, but you also have to know what you're good at and develop that and make it even better.
Yep. I know if for me, I'm obviously I'm good at my throws and develop my character. You ain't gonna see me do a 450 springboard moonsault splash. I will not do that. I give guys credit that can perform that, but my big ass ain't performing that in a match.
Oh, actually, I got a crazy idea, Nick. Actually, John Morrison? I think you should do that Starship Pain.
Yeah.
Actually.
Off the top rope.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
If I can pull it off, I'll do it, but
yeah. And you have to tell them where the idea came from. From those two crazy guys on the podcast. And
I have a lot of crazy ideas. I've been texting Nikolai many days now with much crazy ideas.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I have this kind of filter. Jonas is the idea developer at the podcast. He comes with everything, and it's the filter. Well, Jonas, we could work on that one. We could maybe do it a little bit like that. That one, I don't say it sucks, but sometimes
Mm.
they're a little bit far out, Nick. To
But
say, if you're going to say it politely.
just remember, I'm not Vince Russo idea kind
No,
of
no,
like
no.
guy.
No, you
So,
are actually just Eric Bischoff. So
oh no, it's more worst.
no.
Like
So
kill
so
WCW.
so Nick, if we're now we could actually joke for hours, I think by far. But if we're going to take it back, no doubt about it that the Nick Aldis match was the peak of your career, of everything that you have experienced until now. Could you go into depth with that match? Because I think it's actually interesting how you interacted with Nick Aldis or Magnus or whatever his name is, wrestling wise. What is it that Nick Aldis is so good at in the ring? And
So
how did it help you?
so he's very good at taking someone's strengths and using it towards building a match. As I stated before, if I can go back and as I told you, I would make some changes. Obviously, I'm not gonna bury anybody or put anybody down because I'm not that type of person. But I can make there are definitely some changes I could have made in that match that would have helped me develop my character, the Canadian hero, which I going back I should have done, but with the circumstances that we had, uh, Mr. Aldis was able to incorporate everything regarding my character and the people with me to make the match as best as possible. He was very professional. Him and Mickey James were very down to earth and very, very nice and respectful. I know it was difficult a lot of times for us to go to the match because there's so many people coming around. People want autograph photos. There's so many guys just trying to talk to him and all that. But he was very polite. Like he took the time, obviously, to go to everyone, shake their hand, take a photograph. And like with me, like when it comes to someone like all this, or like say Tommy Dreamer who was at the show, I always look at them as professionals. I always look at them as just a human because I know these guys have to get bombarded every day, and I feel like me personally, like at some point you just need somebody to talk or like at least say like, "Hey, what's up? How's it going?" You know. And like whenever I come to those type of situations, I always see it as an opportunity to show what I have and show what I'm worth, but be very respectful and understand what they're dealing with and what they're probably going through. Because I know, like, for them, that had to be a long flight. I kind of believe they are coming from Tennessee all the way to Canada. That had to be a long flight, and they're probably tired. So I made sure I gave Mr. Aldis and Mickey like the respect, let them decompress because right when they got there, had to go boom, do photos and everything, go in the back, guys trying to get their autographs or pictures and so on and so forth. I'm just there waiting, and we had a chance to go over the match, and he was like I said before, he was very, very respectful, very down to earth, and definitely helped me out a great deal.
But one thing is actually the match in itself. Could you take us a little bit behind the scenes, giving us an insight what happened before the match? How was it before the match, and how was it for you? And after the match, the feedback that you got from Nick Aldis.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, he was
Yeah.
awesome. So like he knew about my wrestling background, my amateur wrestling background. So the way we broke down the match was to have me throw him because obviously he's a pro wrestler, but had me show my strength and when it came to my grappling and stuff like that. So the way we broke down the match was obviously he's the big superstar, Mr. NWA, Nick Aldis Magnus, whatever you want to call him, SmackDown general manager. But then there's this up and coming superstar who's gunning and do whatever he can to win this match. And even though I came up short in the long one, I did win, um, personally and professionally, just because when it comes to future bookings and just more opportunities when it came to just wrestling in general. After the match, he did told me because when we had a chance to speak, he did tell me I should definitely develop my character more. And that's when I got a chance to explain to him about the Canadian hero. And he didn't know anything
Mm.
about that. And he told me next time if we ever do get a chance to work together, definitely should do my Canadian hero stick. And I was happy about that. But as I said before, there are some certain circumstances that if I could go back in time, I would definitely take some things out of it and just I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I would have came out there by myself and done my whole Canadian hero gimmick. Um, I'm better off without a manager because I'm very good at developing a character on my own, coming out of my show. So like wherever you guys see, whenever I wrestle, like I act all goofy or like, oh, I'm the Canadian hero and do my Triple H curtsy and all that. Like that's how I am in general. Like I like laughing, I like having fun. I just like I like messing around with the fans. The thing with like with wrestling with me is like if you connect with the fans, whether it be a good guy or a bad guy or a tweener, then you know you're golden. And I should have, again, if I could go back in time, I wouldn't have had the manager. I would have done the whole Canadian hero shtick and ponder more to the crowd because like that's what I am. Like I like being a showman. That's what wrestling is. It's you can do all these moves, but it's all about showmanship. It's all about characterization. If you want to make it to the next level, anybody can be a wrestler, but you have to be a character.
Yeah, actually, that is one thing that if you look at 2023 in general, we were talking like the whole year, writing back and forth.
Yeah.
The way that you're working with your character and it's tweaking it a little bit time after time, doing it a little bit better, being a little bit better. But I think actually that's the one thing that 2024 will actually show
Yes.
maybe a new side of you
Yep.
or a new side of this Canadian character, or are you going in another direction or keeping the core of this Canadian character going
So
forward?
I'm probably going to change it up a bit because obviously, like, depending on the crowd reaction and all that, like, I won't be the Canadian hero like forever. So I'll probably switch it up more and I'll still do my shtick, but be more aggressive, that aggressive amateur wrestler to start like pounding guys to the mat, just doing my shoot stuff. Because we know how it is. Like a lot of these, I'll tell you right now, what I've noticed when it comes to wrestling, there's so many egos. I know we talked about this before, but there's so many egos, and again, we're wrestling in tights, you know.
Yeah.
Like wrestling generated in the circus, you know what I mean? And there's so many guys that think they're so tough, and it's like anybody can lose. Anybody can lose a fight, but we're not fighting the UFC. We're not boxing. We're putting on a show. I've been in a situation where a guy siffed me. I siffed him right back. Then you go in the back and someone complains, but it's like, dude, look, excuse my language, but like, look how fucking big you are. I'm like, you're gonna complain about me, but let's say I'll get someone like twice my size. Are you gonna complain to them? But I think so many guys like they get their egos in check, or there's so many guys again. Like I stated before, when they take criticism, they can't handle it. Then why be a wrestler? It's like you want all these things handed to you, but that's not how it is. Now a lot of times it's to get to the top. It's like it's who you know, which I granted like that works very well. But a lot of guys like you just have to grind it out. So I know a lot of people think I could be an asshole or a douchebag, and it is what it is. Like I came in the wrestling to work hard and get signed, and I'm gunning for it. Whether people like me or don't like me, just I know who my true friends are, and I have a lot. I respect anybody who gets in the wrestling, but like with me, it goes by one impression. Like if I have a feeling like if I meet somebody and I go off vibes and energies, and if I don't like you, I just don't like you. I'll be cordial, but if I don't like you, I do not like you, and you cannot change that.
No, you can't. But it's better that people have an opinion about you than just
Yeah,
being
exactly.
whatever.
Yeah,
So rather being a douchebag is better than being just the invisible wrestler.
yeah,
So I think maybe you should work a little bit on that, to be a more like a douchebag. Hopefully
yeah.
it suits you.
What's the word you say about that, man?
Yeah. So I think actually we also were talking a little bit last year about your match with Tariq, which was an interesting one as well,
Yeah,
because it was a little bit kind of a different match than the Nick Aldis one.
yeah.
So how did you prepare for that match, and what did you learn from that one?
So I know Tarek and I wrestled the first time, this is the second time we get a chance to work together, and he's a very good wrestler. I know, like, when it comes to his style, it's totally him and Alistair night and day. So like he's very super indie, like he's a very fast worker. So when it came to that, and I know like how our match is going to be just very move for move, go go go, quick pace. So me mentally, so when I go over a match, like I'll go with the opponent, we'll go over the match, we'll go over the move sets, and a lot of times I'll literally go in the corner and visualize the match in my head. And I could be a very big nuisance when it comes to going over matches because I'll like to go over it multiple times. But obviously, like we'll go over it in the ring too. But I like to be prepared, you know, because in my mind I like to visualize the match in my head just to paint the picture. So I knew going into that match, I had to be fast paced, be very super indie, go move for move, just get prepared. So going out there and like the flow of the match, like me doing the whole kick, punch, chop. I did a lot of ad libbing in that match too, just with my character, and because I knew like it was a crowd full of kids. I'm just gonna have fun. Let me have fun and just go out there. But I didn't think I was get the reaction that I got when I did the reverse lift power bomb and people started cheering. I'm like, all right. And I've always been a big fan of Psycho Sid. I remember when
Oh
Sid
yes.
powerbomb or chokeslam
Yes.
people, he would drop on the one knee and do the pose. I'm like, you know, let me drop on the one knee and do a pose. My mom at first was the only one cheering, and people are looking at her. I'm like, it is what it is. But like, I always try to go by like, I always do myself, but I'll watch a lot of my opponents to see like what they're about, even though I know who these guys are, and just like mentally prepare myself, whether it be like a week or a month or a couple of days before a match, just try to get a grasp on like how the match is going to be, and like how to match with my style and their style, and try to give the best match possible for the fans.
But as we were talking about, that match was, as you were also saying, a typical indie match with
Yep.
lots of spots going. Now we're doing this, we're doing this, we're doing this. So not much of a story in that one,
No.
even though you were trying to do a little bit things
Yes.
you could see from your entrance doing, getting reaction from the crowd, being the bad guy, even though the crowd didn't react the way
Yeah.
it was supposed to. So how do you fine tune that in a match? How do you reverse something if you know your mindset is like, well, I'm going to be the heel in this one, and then you discover actually the crowd likes you during the match? How do you switch that mindset?
I know, like for that one, I know a few months ago I did a super show with Destiny and Seaway Valley. So that match was like a hardcore super indie. I can't remember if I showed it to you. I was going against Travis Moore, little guy. So at Seaway Valley, I'm a bad guy, but I get cheered a lot. So with like for like that type of match, I had a lot of fans are booing me, but I was just being the shit out of the guy. So I try to, depending on the crowd and if there's kids there. If there's no kids there, I'll curse, you know, and like talk shit to certain fans. But if not, like I'll try to tell like certain crowd members, "Oh, shut up! Oh, piss off!" You know, just try to do what I can to be a bad guy. The hard part is with me is it came to a point where I could be the biggest bad guy I can, but then people still cheer for me. I'm like, what do I do? Like punch an old lady in the face? But I know it's like with like the change of the guard in pro wrestling, a lot of fans are like smart mark fans. I get like a lot of fans will cheer the so-called bad guy now because he does like impressive moves. So it's a learning experience for me. Like we have I think I told you before, we have Syracuse One Up. Well, One Up Wrestling coming to Syracuse. And obviously I live in Syracuse and I'll be wrestling here. So I'm going to be the biggest asshole, but people are going to cheer for him. Like, what do I have to do? Like attack the crowd, you know? But like my goal is to find that one fan and just try to figure out a way to trigger them. But hopefully that can cause a ripple effect to have people like, even though whether I'd be the Canadian hero or the hometown hero, just have people just boo me and hate me. So it's a very big learning experience.
Yeah.
Or just curse
So,
at my wife in the crowd and curse her out or something. I don't know.
oh, maybe you should not just think about your wife sometimes if it's,
The clothesline her.
yeah,
I know the
exactly.
feeling.
Yeah.
But now we have talked about 2023. If we look towards the future, and you were talking a little bit about getting signed, we also talked about that in the first interview. Where are you in that process at the moment?
That I am not really sure. All I know is right now is I'm just going with the flow. I'm getting a lot more bookings in Canada, which is a plus. I will be making my debut for Russell Open next Thursday, so I'm very excited for that. I'm just trying to do what I can to just get my name and face out there because, as I said before, when it comes to wrestling, it's who you know. Because there's so many people out of town like, oh, like you're so good, you'll get signed, and it'll come at some point. Which I 100% believe that. It's not even being about cockiness or anything like that. Like I'm very confident I will get signed. It just takes that one person to see you or that one match, that one clip, or like that one scout to be right there. Like holy shit, like who is this guy? And I'm very confident it's going to happen. I don't know when, but I'm going to keep busting my ass and getting out there to get that contract.
So is it still TNA that's your dream destination?
Yes and no, because as I said before, like there's Impact, well TNA now, there's MLW, there's AEW, and there's WWE. Um, if I can choose right now, it would be obviously TNA, just because people shit on them so much. I don't know why. Like they've been around for 20 plus years, and they've been at the top, they've been at the bottom, and in between. And I just like the atmosphere, and just they have such a great roster. There's a lot of guys I love to work with on there, but I feel like with Impact, well TNA, everyone's very very close with each other, and just everyone it seems like they just want to work hard. Um, and I know like for Chinlock Wrestling, like Jan Murphy, the one that runs the promotion, he always has Tommy Dreamer at the show, like his shows, like his big shows. And my goal is to work with Tommy Dreamer. And I know he gave some good feedback on my match too with all this. And like someone from Tommy Dreamer who works with Impact that gives me very good, like a very good criticism. I'm like, I must be doing something right, you know? So I believe I'll be there. Don't know when, but I believe it's coming. It's sooner rather than later. And if I can, like at the end of my wrestling career, if I could be in WWE, I would obviously love to do that because that's everyone's dream is to be done. As much as people shit on WWE, you cannot tell me if a WWE contract's in front of you, what are you going to turn it down? Oh, I hate
Oh
WWE.
yes, I would.
That contract's right in front
Never
of you.
ever.
Let me sign that.
Yeah, but then our wish or your goal is actually that we're going to see you on Mania sometimes in the future. When maybe when Jonas has the possibility to go with me.
Drag both you guys to the ring with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll beat you down.
Yeah,
But Nick, I also have a question for you.
yeah, shoot.
So, are we gonna see the Natural in Europe this year? Maybe.
100%. Yes.
Hmm?
I'm hoping. I know Nikolai, you and I were talking. I'm hoping for the summer. I know my wrestling coach and I have been talking too about it. We just want to get it to where we're able to do shows back to back. But that's my goal for the summertime. Like I've wrestled in Europe in freestyle and Greco, and now I want to gear it towards professional wrestling.
Okay.
So what is the status on contacting the promotion? Are you getting through to them, or are they responding? Or
I know Kim and I spoke briefly. I need to contact him. I know is the guy's name, is it Martin?
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'll be contacting him. I want to make sure that all the dates align, so I'm able to do because my goal is to do Europe for at least 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. But hopefully that will lead to being there continuously.
Yeah.
On a regular basis and hang out with you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah, but maybe I'll see you actually in Philly soon.
Yes, I'm hoping.
I actually got my passport this Thursday, so there's no obstacles now.
And you said you haven't been to Philly yet, right?
No.
Yeah, so hopefully if I'm able to make it down there, I'll bring it to all the historical sites. My wife and I thought they're very cool. Like going to all the monuments and stuff like that. Like that's a cool part of Philly.
But actually I saw it's only an hour and 5 minutes away from New Jersey actually.
Oh yeah, like literally like right to Jersey. It's like there's a New Jersey turnpike and goes right to Philly. It's literally one like straight shot.
Yeah, but if you're not coming down, I'm definitely going to take the train.
Oh yeah,
the other way around. Yeah. So I'm coming to annoy you, whether you like it or not.
That's fine with me.
Yeah. I'll come and visit to say hi to Gray.
My wife's saying you hang out with people, so I'm like, all right.
Yeah. I might be a little bit quiet, maybe. I do. So you must excuse me if I'm a little bit shy at first.
That's not true. That's not true, Nick.
Yeah.
He's never shy.
Yeah, I can be actually. So
I know.
Yeah. So are you going to have some bookings in Philly?
I'm hoping, like, you know me, like I know you and I talked before. I'm very picky when it comes to bookings because I go by, because obviously I've been wrestling that long, but I always go by like the talent, the promotion. I always go by like my peers' experience. I know everyone has a different experience. It's like, hey, like is this worth me going down here or the work of this company? Because excuse me, I've been in a situation before where I've been screwed over, or like I've worked a certain calendar that just make the match difficult. The match just sucks. I just want to make sure I cross my T's and dot my I's when it comes to working certain promotions. And I know a lot of people feel like, well, you should work. There's guys that are like, oh, you should work anywhere and everywhere in the store. And I'm like, that's you, but there's every guy and gal is different. I'm very picky on where I work or who I want to work with, but that's just me. I'd rather work with the top and get noticed than wrestle at like some rinky dinky promotion. No offense, that's people like going to wrestle at. Hey, more power to them, but I'd rather wrestle at a good company, win, lose or draw, put on a great performance and be invited back than wrestling at, like, I guess to say, people call it an outlaw promotion and wrestling like a shitty match or like there's that all they care about is title belts. It's like, again, that's their own prerogative, but to me it's not about belts. To me it's about just having good matches and working hard.
Yeah. It's always you have to choose your own path towards getting signed actually. So I think actually it sounds quite a good thing to do the way you're doing it. So
thank you.
So fingers crossed for everything, Nick. And I think we should actually do this every year. We're going to poke at you saying, oh, please, superstar Nick Sullivan, can you come on our podcast? But Nick, if you do you have any last words for our thousands and thousands of listeners around the world? Maybe a little bit less, but I hear that you sometimes have to do kayfabe.
Well, no, first off, I do want to thank the opportunity to have me share my story, my goals, what I want to accomplish. I want to thank you guys for giving me a platform. Thank you for being a friend. I'm glad I got a chance to meet and hang and talk. I can't wait to come back to Europe in a professional wrestling sense and get a chance to meet the fans there and the rosters and work hard. And I'm glad to build that relationship, and I'm glad to have the opportunity to meet you guys. And again, like I said, this is thank you. Like I said, like this is what you see is what you get. I'm very appreciative on how much people believe in me, and I just thank everybody. And just my goal is to get signed. obviously for my wife, 'cause my wife works very hard, but for my son too. My son looks up to me, and I want him to be like, oh yeah, my dad, like he's on TV, like he's a
Yeah.
superstar, natural, and like that's what makes me work so much harder. I know a lot of people have their own reasons, but my goal is to get signed for my family. Just because, again, too, my wife works in healthcare, and that crap is a grind. And my goal is like, hey, you don't do it anymore. You don't have to work in healthcare. Just relax us. Doing those 12-hour shifts overnight. And Nikolai, I know you and I talk about like her having those crazy shifts. I'm like, you can finally relax. You can finally go to sleep, you know? So
Exactly.
that's what makes you work so much harder. Like, that's what makes me develop that character. Like, just work as hard as I can. Well, I just like thank you guys.
But you're always more than welcome to come on the podcast. But
thank you.
Actually, we are going to maybe I've talked with Jonas about it, or maybe I'm breaking it a little bit here. But we would actually like you to do maybe a preview and a review on one of the big 4 Premier Live events of WWE in the near future.
Oh yeah, for sure, definitely.
Yeah. So we would like to pick your brain a little bit about wrestling.
Oh yeah,
and
definitely.
Because we would actually like Nick to get a more wrestler's perspective on the matches, because we marks, or what we could say, experts, sounds better. Exactly. We have a certain way of looking at a wrestling match and seeing certain kind of things. We would like your perspective as well, but
Okay.
we will come back to you before that.
Yeah, sure.
And I think it will be also a good thing, Jonas. I hope you agree with me, or else you must shut me up.
We will see.
Yeah. That we should do a little bit about when you know your days in Europe. We should do some promo work there, so people will get to know you in Europe before you're coming.
Like I said, I want to get that European singlet made too.
Yeah, I'll follow you to the ring.
Yeah, you're my bodyguard in case any fans was attacked.
Yeah.
Jonas.
because Jonas got super kicked.
Yeah, I got super kicked.
He's still not totally recovered, so bear
Not
with
either.
him if he's saying something strange, Nick. So.
I just saying, Pete Phoenix, watch out. Watch out.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah, Nick Sullivan got you. Nick, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, guys.
It's always a pleasure having the natural Nick Sullivan on our show. It will be more of a yearly event. So, and people out there, listeners, viewers, whoever you are, remember, you have to watch wrestling live.